For 8 years, he was the governor of Ebonyi State. Well, for the 8 years, he was passionate about education, free education in the States. And when you listen to his story, you'll know why. You know, I tell people that you will be what God says you will be, irrespective of your circumstances, because it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs. It's of God who shows mercy. Join us as His Excellency, Dr. Sam Egwu, tells us his amazing story, his journey through life, the detours he had to go through. My name is UD. See you after this time out. Your Excellency, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor for you to come all the way, to come and inspire people out there with your story.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, nothing prepared you for the high office that you held.
Nothing apart from being a head boy in the primary school and then the secondary school senior prefect, but I felt it was just one of those positions or responsibilities that one has at the lower level. So I didn't look at it as something that will lead to something higher.
And then you finished all of that. I hear that even the process of going to school was a difficult one.
Well, because of the war.
Yes.
You see, I happen to have come from a very respected family, but not rich one.
Yes.
A middle class, lower middle class. You know, sometimes
You have the upper middle class.
I have the lower. My father was, he went to the army during the Second World War. Yeah, that will tell you his level of education.
Yes.
Primary 6 or standard 6, as they call it then. And he came back from the Second World War and then picked up a very low job, what we call court bailiff, or in the north they call them native authority police. And then we lived in the court premises and went to school. So for some people, they were regarded as well as people that are respected, but you know that in the contemporary world, that's a very low something. But thank God, we went through the primary school, and then the war came up. The presence of the military was felt in the urban and along the road, so
yes.
we were right inside the village for the period the war lasted, and I just finished my primary school.
Okay.
And about entering the secondary school, and because there were no activities, school activities, so we were right there until the war ended. Around 70, I entered secondary school.
How was the process of going to secondary school at that time?
Yeah, that's because when I entered the secondary school, let me tell you the story.
Okay.
Right there in the bush, we were there, and there was this local market. And I go there because one has to find a way of surviving.
Yes.
We left the court premises where my father was working, and went into the inside village where they had some relations, and we were like refugees. We were trying to find a way to survive. You can imagine somebody who was living in the court premises.
Now moving into the interior.
There. So we had to do all manner of jobs, farm jobs to survive. Then occasionally I go and buy something in a bigger market, go to a smaller one to sell it to get some extra toys.
You?
Myself. It was in such situations that I was just sitting down in my shade. And
Oh, you had a shade?
No, in markets, there used to be shade.
Okay.
On market, they
Yes.
stay under the shade and then sell their goods. It was a fish, dry, something like dry fish. I bought from a bigger market to a smaller one. And I was selling that fish. And then at the back of that shade, there was a notice from government saying secondary schools will reopen. And it's going to be free, no tuition. So people are free to come and register. They were appealing to people to come back to school because school just reopened. And immediately I got that message, I went to told my dad, look, secondary schools are now reopening. He said, then what about it? I said, I want to go back to school. He said, from where? No money. And you can see, no job. I've not been receiving my salaries. I said, don't worry, I will go. He said, how are you going to go? I said, I will go. I left the village and went to Abakaliki town. There were a lot of, the presence of military men were there and all that. And I met my uncle who was there. I told him, look, I want to go back to school. My uncle was living in the town doing business. He was selling some drinks to the military. So he was a bit comfortable.
Yes.
And I thought my brother my uncle
would help you.
Would help me. And he promised anyway. And that particular day the school reopened. Because of the situation there, everybody was going to be day students.
Yes.
So the issue of living in school, so you have to cook for yourself. And I know he told me, he took me to the tailor, said, okay, go with 1 yam. 1 yam. There was nothing like a pot, nothing like a spoon, nothing like any pepper or salt. But the way I moved was like something was pushing me. I took that tuber of yam, 1 tuber. Entered the vehicle he paid for me, went to the school. He said, come back 1 week after. By then your uniform must have been ready.
Yes.
And then we will collect pots and then the soup ingredients and all the things that plates for you to go. So you can imagine that 1 week after I went back. I went to the tailor. I said, please, is my uniform ready? He said, which uniform? I said, but I came and made sure that my uncle, say your uncle never showed up. Never showed up again. As I'm talking to you now, I never collected that uniform. And then going back to school with the promise of all the materials, none came to me. But my savior was that as I went to that school, I saw a family friend, those we lived with before the war started. It was a family of 5 and also other people. So I joined them. It was like cooking like in a group. So I took that my 1 year tuber of yam and joined in with their own. But because I had nothing with me apart from the yam, and I became the cook. I was just cooking, doing all the cooking for everybody.
And were you able to cook well?
Well, I don't know.
Hold the thought. I tell people that it's only God who can stir the heart of man to help you. When we come back, His Excellency will tell us what happened now that he became the cook. We'll see you after this time out. You're welcome back. So, Your Excellency, what you were cooking, how was it?
It got to a point when a member of that group felt that I wasn't contributing enough because I still had only my 1 year.
Nothing else came after.
Nothing came after. And I had made a promise that please I might come in next week with every other thing that others had. I never came after 2 or 3 visits.
Yes.
So one day the guy told me, look, I think I have to stay on my own. I felt, I tried, and I went home. I told my parents, and of course my father said, look, I told you, you could have waited. Because he had hoped that they'll be called back and when they start collecting salaries, maybe my school fees, those provisions will be met. So, but as God would have it, almost at that same time, while I was having that problem at the school, my senior sister that was in secondary school there before the war got a job with a mission hospital. And that mission hospital was involved in relief activities.
Yes.
She now gave me most of the materials, including milk, including more than those people had.
Did you take it back to?
So I carried those things back to, already I've been asked to stay on my own.
Yes.
So I took those years back to school and stayed on my own. So that was how I continued. But then, after 1 year of that period, mind you, they told us initially that there wasn't going to be a school fees.
Yes.
After 1 year, they introduced school fees. That again made our situation
Worse.
Made our situation worse. So because of that, I had to withdraw from school. For 1 term, I did go to school. So what did I do? I started to write a letter to the bishop of our diocese.
Yes.
Late Bishop Magachi. I wrote him a letter. He said, look, I've withdrawn from school because of lack of school fees and I would want assistance in any way. I didn't know. I wrote the letter and sent the letter. And one day, one of my uncles, I'm not the one that
Said to you, yes.
said, look, did you write a letter to the bishop? I said, yes. He said the letter has replied and had directed me to go to a Catholic priest outside my own area to collect my school fees. I went to the man interviewed me, and then gave me the school fees. That was how I paid. And then I went back to school after I had missed 1 term.
Yes.
In the 3rd term, I went to school and then paid my school fees. After that one, the next one, I now decided that my school fees will now be shared by 3 of them. My pastor, my uncle,
yes.
my sister, and my parents. Even though my father wasn't working, but that was what my uncle said, that he would pay only 1/3. That was how I saw myself through my secondary school.
Let me jump, Your Excellency. Is that why you were so passionate about free education in Ebonyi State?
Well, yes, partly.
We'll come to that. I just needed to jump that. I now explain that.
Okay.
So you now finished secondary school?
Yes.
So?
I now finished my secondary school and got a job as a clerical officer in one local government, precisely issues of local government, then in Enugu State. And that was where I started, and that was when I got born again after my secondary school.
Yes.
And then with that experience, I felt that actually that God is capable of
doing anything.
Started preparing for secondary school, for university.
Yes.
Preparing for my exams, even though I know
there was no money.
There was no money, but I thought God will saw me through. All this while is capable of seeing me through that way. I was able to save at least the money for my school fees, 1 year school fees.
From that work?
From that work. I was really saving my money, just getting little for my feeding and then putting the rest in the bank. And after, by 1976, I took a common interest to the university and got admitted into the university. Paid my used that first
money to pay the first school.
Pay the school fees. But then there was scholarship programs there by Anambra State government. There was also bursary by the state government. I applied for both of them. And of course went down to prayers. I said, God, it is you that made it possible for me to even enter the university. And traced my background up to this point. I said, God, I know you are capable of doing it. By the time I was sitting for my exams, there was a prayer I made in my room. I closed my room. I said, God, I want to apply to go to the university. But if going to the university will make me to lose my Christianity, please, I don't want to go to university. But if it will enhance my Christianity,
yes,
I know you're going to approve it, and I will go to. But my promise is I will never fail you.
Yes.
I made that promise, I said that prayers, and then forgot about everything. Do you know that when the scholarship and bursary I applied, the result came, in my class in the university, I was already in the university, like I told you.
Yes, yes.
I was the only student that got the bursary and got the scholarship. Every other person in my class never got it. But I had to make choice. When I finished my university, that was 1981, I went for my youth corps. That was in Maiduguri.
Yes.
And then got job there with Lecture Research Institute Maiduguri. Because of my desire for further studies, I went back to University of Nigeria, where I did my first degree for my master's program. And of course, that was the period of austerity measures. And again, the research institute I joined was basically because they were sending their staff for further studies overseas. But that same year, they stopped it. I said, well, I'm already used to God see me through, so that is no problem. So I applied for study leave with pay. Again, my director said, no, because of the measures now, they won't even grant study leaves with pay. If I want to go for my further studies, I have to resign. So I now put my letter of resignation, and they couldn't believe it.
Hold that thought, Your Excellency. I have come to find obstacles as God is trying to make you have a rethink and for him to tow you on the right path. When we come back, Your Excellency will tell us how he was when he resigned an appointment. We'll see you after this time out. I'm glad you're still here. Your Excellency, you resigned. You were not afraid. In this austerity period, if you were going to get another job, you were not afraid.
I wasn't afraid because I found God who started the...
Will take you.
Will take me through. I started by applying for study leave without pay, like I said.
Yes.
And went to the university. But because I was already, let me just say that between the period of my youth corps and then starting the job, I got married. I was now a married man. So I now had another additional responsibility. But what happened then was that my wife was already working like with her school start. She got this auxiliary teaching appointment and then got study leave. The neighbor had go to university, went to university.
Yes.
And then from after the completion of her program, they reabsorbed her back.
Okay.
That now made it possible for her to be posted as a teacher in the secondary school. And I now, because I already know that I was coming to Nsukka, my program,
okay,
I now requested of the authority that they should post my wife to Nsukka, so that if I stayed with her, I'll be doing my master's program, and with the little resources coming in, we'll be able to take care of ourselves. So I did that, and then came back home. Also applied, because I had already left my job, applied for a teaching appointment. And when I got the teaching appointment, I said they should send me to Nsukka. So both of us were posted to Nsukka, and then that day at Nsukka, we were in one school. So when we were in one school, teaching in secondary school, I was doing my master's program. That was how we did it. But something happened. When we got our first child, Chamaka,
yes,
my daughter, we were at Nsukka.
Yes.
Using the resources. Because my wife was posted to Nsukka, I was posted at the same time. And you know, at that time, if you start a job newly, you will stay for at least 3 months before you get your first salary.
Yes.
Because of the processes involved, administrative processes, bottlenecks, as you should call it that. So I had a car, a 305 car, which I was using. And there was a particular day, my wife said, there was no milk for the child. Baby milk, naan, I don't know call it.
Yes, naan at the time. Yes, naan.
We just got a baby, Kamaka, our first daughter, and there was no money for the naan. What really helped us there was that, as a teacher who hadn't started collecting money, but and also a student, master's program student in the university, at the evenings or my spare time, I would use that my car and hit the road and try to pick passengers in order to get some extra money. I would also go to some people who were selling, well, this particular brother by name Peter, he had a distributorship of chicken parts from Avot. Avot used to be a poultry project in then Imo State. They will give him, he had a distributorship. So I would go to him and collect some cartons of chicken, while
you were doing your masters.
While I did my masters, I will collect the chicken products or parts and go to hotels. All the hotels at Nsukka, they know me then. I will go to them sell these things, and from the little gain, I'll give him his capital, and whatever gain I make, I use to sustain. Then I also collect eggs. If you go to Ebola along the roads, you see the people selling eggs, making teas at night.
Yes.
I will also supply to them. So when I do that, I also collect some money. So that was what we were using to sustain ourselves. Myself, my program, and my little kids.
Yes.
We hadn't started collecting salaries. There was this particular day, he said, no milk for the baby. It's okay, well, not to worry, I'm going to hit the road. I took my car, went to the road from Nsukka town to 9th mile in Enugu. You wouldn't believe that. That stretch of road, I didn't pick a passenger. Meanwhile, the remaining fuel in my car is already down, just enough to take me back. And then coming back, I didn't see another passenger.
And there was no milk in the house.
No milk in the house.
And petrol is drying out.
Petrol has already dried out. I went back to the house. So darling, there's nothing. I didn't succeed this time around. And this is my child without milk. So we said, what are we going to do? We had 2 empty crates of soft drink. Empty crates. We had to carry them to the market to sell. So that empty crates of soft drink in order to raise money to buy milk for my baby. So this was one of those experiences I experienced while I was doing my master's program at Nsukka.
And then you went, after that, you went to do your doctorate.
Well, after that, my master's program, I tried my hand. Of course, people came to me and said, look, but your activism in the university, and there was this local government election coming up. My people just came to me and said, look, why don't you come and become the chairman of the local youth camp? I said, okay, that's okay by me. I've always been a student activist in the university. In the university, I was very, very active in the student activities. I was Assistant Secretary General and later Secretary General of the Students' Union at Nsukka. So I immediately jumped at that opportunity. Did all my campaign, posters, to become the council chairman.
Yes.
And then INEC has to clear people. And there was this provision in the condition to qualify to be a council chairman that you must have spent 1 year in that local government. I'm already I'm an indigenous of that local government.
And you had not spent 1 year yet?
I was at Nsukka doing my program. So I felt that being an indigenous and saying at Nsukka that I qualified to contest that election. That it was meant for those who are not indigenous and who ought to have stayed at least 1 year in that local government before they contested the election. And we had a lot of examples of people who had similar situations and they also contested with me. But the INEC people, because of the powerful bloc in my local government, who felt that I happen to have come from a community that is small, because politics is all about numbers.
Numbers, yes.
My community, Zambo, is a small community compared to the Umbo community that is a very large community.
Yes.
And of course they say, how can somebody from Zambo be their chairman? Of course, the INEC people, the power blocks, the day list of those cleared will appear. And
your name wasn't there.
My name wasn't there.
But you didn't know God was taking you somewhere. Well, you knew that God was...
I just said, God, well, if he didn't want me, well, there's no problem because I depended on him all through my life.
Your Excellency, I must thank you very much for coming to share your story with us. But, you know, you have such an amazing story that one episode is not enough to take your story. So I hope you'll join us next week to tell us the concluding part and your journey to becoming governor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for coming. Viewers, thank you for being with us today. And you know, I tell people that God is a God who answers prayers. And the thing is that whatever you're doing, God has predestined you. No one can take what God has purposed for you, and you cannot take what God has purposed. God is a God of due season. When the time comes, he will do what he knows is best for you, and at the time he knows it is best for you. Join us next week.